questions that you might also have, but we highly encourage interactive participation. That is what we do at NextStep 360. So if you have any other questions besides the one that I'll be discussing about today, we highly encourage you to ask those in the meeting chat. And also we could give you some time at the end of the session for an interactive Q&A session. Okay. All right. Before we start off, let's go for a small icebreaker question. Okay, so this is an open question to all our panelists. What were the biggest cultural differences that you experienced when you moved abroad, and how did you overcome them? Because we have participants, panelists from UK, USA, and South Korea, where the culture is very much different to Sri Lanka. So we're keen to know what were the major changes that you had to encounter. We'll go with Rotaractor Lahiru Disanayake first.
Yes, sure. So thanks so much for the introduction and also inviting us for the event. It's a great pleasure coming back to Rotaract Club in Peradeniya and for a project NextStep. So regarding the question, biggest cultural shock, I think so I'm from the UK and I'm staying in London. So one of the biggest cultural shock is how people interact with each other. So in England, most of them are more direct compared back in Sri Lanka, where people who you don't really know won't interact with you, so they could interact you indirectly rather than coming with you directly, giving positive and also negative feedback. And also regarding the lifestyle that people undertake here. So most of even my supervisor and colleagues from lecturers, PhD students, they would use the public transport rather than having their own public vehicle, private vehicle, and also most of them cycle as well. So it was a really a shock seeing while back in Peradeniya we used to use motorcycles or cars to come even for a shorter distance from our residence hall. And finally, also regarding the relationship that we have with our own supervisors, back in Sri Lanka, we do have majority of the lecturers would have a sort of a hierarchy between the students and the lecturers, but here it's more or less informal, and they would treat you as a colleague and a friend. So you need to come up with some sort of informal communication as well, apart from the research that you have formally discussions. So I think that would be some of the cultural shock that I experienced, and I think other families would do that.
All right. So looking at your answer, I think it's mostly from the social aspect when we talk about the UK in compared to like Sri Lanka. The people are more humble, I could say, if that's all right. Yeah. So something of that sort. All right. Next up, we'll move into Thiraj Dhanushan. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for inviting me. So it's same as it's been a pleasure to come back to Rotaract again after so long. So the biggest cultural shock I would say would be so mainly getting used to the subculture of US like education. You know, when I first joined, like you kind of so I'll explain one of my experiences when I first joined. So I was trying to like, you know, kind of work as same as that I worked in Peradeniya. So, but it's not the same here. So you have to be very open. You have to be very open to the opportunities. If you just laid back, you will lose a lot of opportunities, and you have to interact with other people from other country. They're from different backgrounds. So getting used to this, you know, getting to know people, getting to know your professor, like getting used to the like environment here. Yeah, that's also like another big challenge. So in the weather is very different, and yeah, mostly getting used to the subculture, I would say. And especially as Lai Rumali said, interaction with your supervisor. So with it's definitely would be different from what we have like experienced in Peradeniya, and also where your professor and where your lab mates are from is also another fact. So if they're American, the way they work is different. If they're from Asian countries, the way they work is different. So you have to like find a sweet spot to like deal with them all. So that was my biggest that was what I was struggled with most in my first couple of semesters.
Okay, thank you so much. So what I gained from that is we all know that USA, it's a very diverse country. When we talk about culture, you have people coming from Asia, and then there are people who are like originally American. So they all interact together. So that is what higher education is all about. So I think the participants today, they could get a lot of information about how open-minded one should be in order to live in such countries. All right, now we'll move on to Chamini. Chaminiyaki, what do you think? What was your experience like? We can't hear you. Could you please check the audio? Not yet. All right, so until Chaminiyaki figures out the technical part, we'll move into Gavishta. What about you? What are your insights on the topic?
Yeah, hi all. It's always nice to be here, like Roy and Tirajay said. For me, so I worked as a TA for the first 2 semesters here. So the way we deal with the undergraduates is totally different from what it's like in Sri Lanka. They are pretty open and they'll come asking questions straight to your face. And if you don't know, you can just tell them, I don't know. I'll ask the professor and get back to you. I mean, it's that easy, but that's not how it works. That's not how it works in Sri Lanka. I think that's the biggest difference biggest cultural shock that I saw once I came here.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Now we'll move into some more practical questions based on your experience that you had when, like, on the right moment that you moved abroad. So another main question is, how did you manage your finances, especially during the first few months of settling in? And what was your approach to budgeting and saving money? Because we are moving into countries with different currencies. And because of the exchange rate and all, we can't always expect our parents to provide for us. And there should be a certain level of individuality when it comes to this financial aspect. So we'll move into Chaminiyaki first. Hopefully she got her audio figured out now.
I think you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so should I go with the first question or the second one now?
I mean, it's your choice. What do you prefer?
Okay, I will add a few things for the first question as well, because my background is a lot different from the others. So for me actually, the sort of the culture was a little bit similar from South Korea and Sri Lanka as well. Interacted with the professors and everything, but the cultural difference I experienced, we had to respect how to manage certain respect level with professors and even with the colleagues we meet. So we had to
All right. Thank you, Chaminiyaki. We are having some, thank you, Chaminiyaki. I think you're having some internet connection issues, but hopefully she'll get that figured out. And answer more questions as we proceed on to the meeting. Now I will direct the question about the finances towards Lahiraya. So he's living in the USA, and we all know the inflation is over the roof. And what about you? How was your financial experience like?
Yeah, so coming to US, even before coming, you have the financial commitments regarding visa, and in UK, you need to apply for the visa. You need to pay ahead the 4 years of healthcare surcharge. And so at the moment of applying for the visa, I had to pay close to 1 million LKR because of the exchange rate inflation as well. So it was around, more or less around 1 million. So there's definitely a financial commitment even before coming to the UK. So in my particular scenario, so my parents backed me with the finances there, but you do have so many other student loans that you can also talk with your local banks in Sri Lanka, and also when it comes to certain PhD scholarships, they do provide funding for the visa process and results, or even reimburse after paying. So those are some of the support system that you can find to deal with the financial issue in the initial stage. And after coming abroad, settling down, find accommodation, and the first few months, most of the accommodation would ask for you to pay for 3 or 4 months of rent early on, because they need to secure you as a tenant. So there's a bit of commitment there as well. And most of in my institute, they would give you the first month's salary within a week or two, because they know there are most of more than 70% of us are international students at Imperial. So they know the struggle of them. So they would give you the payment early on. And also some of my friends from UK also gave me loan me some money, so it was more helpful. I think it's a bit similar when you come to US as well. And I think Siraja and Ganesh can explain you more about how other students help you during the financial crisis in the initial stage.
Okay, thank you so much. So, summarizing all that up, so there are different ways that students can get that financial support that they need. So we will be talking about scholarships and the qualification that one must have for that later on. So stay tuned for that. And now we'll be moving into Gavishta. What about your experience? How was it like for you in terms of finances during particularly the first month? So that is where you struggled the hardest, because it's a new environment, you don't know much people there. And how was it like for you?
Well, it's pretty same to what Lahiraya said, but usually if you reach out, okay, so in the first month it'll be a lot expensive, because you have to pay the rent. You usually have to pay the rent for 2 months, and you have to pay security deposits. It's a lot of stuff. You have to buy new clothes for the winter. But for me, it was somewhat easy, because we have a huge Sri Lankan community here at Maryland, so they were really helpful. And even for everyone else who's planning on applying, if you reach out to any of the Sri Lankans doing PhD that you know of, I mean, even us, we would be glad to help financially. So as of now, I think the financial burden can be laid off a little bit, since if you have people you know abroad, it doesn't have to be in the same university.
All right, thank you. So the conclusion is you need to have a lot of connections And the University of Peradeniya, we have a lot of ways that you can make this connection, and Rotaract Club, that is one of it. Okay. So this is an open invite for all the participants. So if you do want to join Rotaract Club, it's never too late. Okay. And yeah, so you can see these past Rotaractors, how they interacted abroad. So they had that safety net to fall back on. So that all depends on the connection, and you are not alone in it when you do have these said connections. All right, we'll move into the next question. That is, how did you find accommodation, and what factors did you consider when choosing where to live? Because as one of our panelists said, the public transport, that is one of the main modes of transport that people use in the said countries. So does distance really matter, or do you have to find accommodation that is like super nearby? Because I think in Peradeniya, there is that sort of thing where, I mean, yeah, the closer that you live to the faculty, the better it is. So is it the same for you guys, or is it different? And if so, in what aspect? Dr. Tiraj?
Yeah. So I would like explain my experience when I came here. So it can be different from university to university, whether it is like bigger or smaller. Luckily, so when I wanted to find accommodation, the first thing that I did is there is a group called SL Grad Student in USA. So I just put it as I'm looking for accommodation in this city and I'm getting admitted to this city, this university. So there were plenty of people who reached out to me, even from other universities, not just Pera. So they reached out to me asking, who like, are you coming alone, or like, are there any students from your university? So then I got connected with two of graduates from University of Colombo, and actually I lived for them for like 1 year as roommates. So it's good to know people like who coming to the same batch from the other universities as well. And also when I found out my apartment actually from a what you call a Facebook group. So I just just searched as apartments in Cincinnati, close to University of Cincinnati. So there were plenty of bunch of groups that made by a couple of students, and you could like not easily, but you could actually check out the pictures like of the apartments, and you can get to know from the previous people. Like you can just like comment on those posts and like how's the condition will be, how's the electricity, how's the other expenses will be. So that's how I actually got to know about this accommodation and stuff. And of course, the people who were here already, so they actually really helped me a lot to check out the apartments and how close it is, whether the neighborhood is like safe. So they helped with that. So actually, you can reach out to other university people. That's how you network as well, right? So yeah, that was my experience in finding accommodation and stuff.
All right, thank you. So what I've gathered is, okay, so the networking, that is the main part that you highlighted in the answer that you gave. So I mean, we are Sri Lankans, okay, we all have to stick together, and that is the safety net that one should have before moving abroad. And having like a certain misconception like, oh, I'm going to live in this place with these people, and having that sort of fixed mindset, it won't get you that far, because you do need to be flexible because you don't know anything about, much about the country that you're moving to. So one must be really flexible. I feel like Lahiraya would like to add on to a little bit about that.
Yeah, so reflecting back on Piraja's answer as well, it's more or less the Sri Lankan community that helps you once you go abroad. So back in Sri Lanka, if you are joined to certain societies and like pubs and societies, you get the habit of networking with different kinds of people. But if you haven't, make it a habit of networking with different kinds of people before coming. So you never know which part of Sri Lanka the people are. So there are questions where you need to network with other people, and they are the the Sri Lankans who support you after you go abroad. And regarding accommodation, some institutes, so universities do provide accommodation for postgraduate students, and some do not. So after getting the offer, just check whether the universities do provide accommodation or not, because coming from Sri Lanka, we can't really see the conditions of houses, and sometimes you can't really rely on all the facts that you see on the internet or in the Facebook or groups. So if you have a friend or someone from Sri Lanka, he or she would willingly go and look for the accommodation, just have a visiting and send you genuine photos and videos of the place. And also think about the budget as well. And as Nandi mentioned earlier regarding the public transport, whether it's easily accessible for the university as well. In my situation, Imperial is just central London, so rent would cost around 150 to 300. That's around 1 lakh per week. So it's a huge amount, and you need to think whether you are saving from public transport or are you saving from the distance. So you need to balance it off. So accommodation cost comes with the cost of the accommodation plus the amount you spend on transport.
All right. So both the pros and cons are there about finding accommodation. You just need to weigh all these aspects together so you can come to a pretty neutral decision. Now that we're at the topic of networking, I'd like to direct the next question to Chamini because she's living in South Korea where networking isn't really that easy because of the language barrier. So how was it like for you? Because Tirajaya, Lahiraya, they all talk about the importance of networking and connecting. So when you were living in South Korea, how was it like for you? How did you overcome that difficulty? Okay, you're on mute.
You
Okay, yeah, now we can hear you.
you can hear me, right? Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm sorry, I had a bit of like a power failure while ago, so now I think it's all right. And for me, actually, the South Korea, the society was bit weird actually, because there were no much international students to interact with within the university, and with the limited time I had with all my research and work, I didn't had much of the chance to get along with the students and go for events, such things. But I always maintained a good relationship with the supervisor where I could get time and manage my time to attend there are several events that are organized by the university, especially from the international office, where they all gathered the international students and took us certain places, travels, and like different events, trying their cultures like that. So that was one thing I did to make new friends and for networking as well. And through the seniors who have previously been there and who's currently been there before us. So through them, through mutual connections, likewise. But the language barrier actually played a huge role when making friends with the Koreans. But apart from that, during the course studies and events, mutual connections, I try to make friends. I think that's what I did.
All right. So you had, I mean, looking at all our panelists, I feel like you had the most trouble making the connections because of the language barrier itself. But I mean, you're here now, so you manage just fine, I hope. All right. Okay. So another question that we commonly get asked is, how do you deal with homesickness? Because I know a lot of people, the second it's all sunshine and rainbows, you want to go abroad, you want to live alone. But the second they land on the specific country, they're like, oh no, I want to come back home. And they're missing their mom's meal. And that sort of homesickness happens to almost all, I would say. So we'll go with Tirajaya. What do you think? How was your insight on that?
Yeah. So I'll explain my experience. So luckily, I had my sister in US, so I had a family here. But definitely, of course, I felt homesickness when I came to my university. It's been like very far from my sister's university. It's like 11 hours drive. So what I actually coped up with, basically, I try to keep up with, you get busy in the first couple of semesters with your coursework and making friends, getting used to the new environment. But I kind of try to keep up with calling my parents at least like few days a week. Sometimes you won't get the time to call them because of the time difference. When you are free, like they will be sleeping. So sometimes it would be just keep up having connection with your friends. Even if your friends are after graduating, they will move to different countries. So even in your weekends, you can actually have a group call, chat a bit and have your that kind of helps to deal with your homesickness. In the weekdays, you can actually probably get busy with the work, but at least that also helps your mental health as well. It's a big factor after living after coming here. You don't have any family, you don't have your closest friends close by, and everything you see is okay, PhD and getting research, and that's kind of can gets hard. So that's one of the main things. Keep your connection with your closest friends, even they are abroad. Now you have internet and everything. Keep your connection with the family, and of course get busy with your work and explore new experiences. It would be exciting, and you kind of get rid of the homesickness feeling in that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now we move into Gavishtaya, who's been hiding in the background. Okay. So this question is for Gavishtaya. What were the support systems that you had? So this could be either emotionally, or it could be in other aspects as well, in which they help you to find transportation, accommodation, finance, that sort of thing. So when you first went abroad, what sort of supportive systems or safety nets did you have?
For me, I would say it's the Sri Lankan community over here, particularly the PhD students who were here before we came. So even when finding accommodation, one of them helped us a lot. He went to the house. So what usually happens is when a set of students are selected to a university, they would contact the seniors, and the seniors would connect all of us together, and then we'll look for a house. One of the seniors would go to that house, check it out. So likewise, the PhD students over here, they helped us a lot. They helped me a lot. So they were the guides to show us okay, this is how you find the transport. This is how you do the grocery shopping and everything. Yes, I would say it's the seniors who are already doing their PhD here that helped us a lot.
All right. So being away from your parents and being away from your families, where usually they take care of all those for you, that must have definitely been challenging. So that also leads back to the importance of networking. I feel like particularly in most universities, people like to disregard whether joining these societies and clubs and networking as purely just for the CV. Okay, I was in this club because it's good for my CV. So the practical, when it comes to the practical side, the importance I think is really starting to show when you actually move abroad and you have those people supporting you. Since we have Rotaractors on the house, so since everyone here is a Rotaractor, the panelists, this is an open question. How has being in Rotaract supported you in your journey in studying abroad? Anyone can go first. It's an open question.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So being a Rotaractor I would say that's the most helpful. Like I would really say, being a Rotaractor is the most rewarding experience that I had in Pera. Now after coming here, it's like being forwardness and being open-minded, and that helped me, and also networking. So you also you are not afraid to get to know people, right, when you're in Rotaract. So you like to meet people from other faculties, and likewise after coming here, it's actually helped me a lot to getting to know people, joining different societies. There are Rotaract clubs here as well, and you can actually join with them, and also different like international organizations and stuff. So definitely the mindset that I had in Rotaract Pera helped me a lot. That I would not say like directly, but when you work on those organizations here, you kind of felt, okay, I was not like before, but after I joined Pera Rotaract, I became like this. So you kind of feel it. So it's basically you will definitely be benefited from what you get from the Rotaract Pera. I can assure that.
Okay. Next up, we'll move into Gavish Daya. So he is also the president of the Rotaract Club at USA as well. So you're also the past president at Rotaract Club while you were in Sri Lanka, and you're also president while you were in USA. So how has that impacted you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the question. I just had a network.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. Yeah. So I was just telling him about like how you were the past president of the Rotaract Club while you were in Sri Lanka, and then even after moving abroad, you have been the president. So you have had a lot of experience in Sri Lanka as well as both abroad. Okay. So how has Rotaract Club as a whole affected you in studying abroad? Has that helped you in any sort of aspect? And if so, how?
Yeah, it sure did. So once I got the offer from University of Maryland, the first thing I did was search whether they have a Rotaract club here. And sorry. So I found that there was a club, but it has been inactive. Then I reached out to the Rotary Club in the area. I got connected with the Rotarians. It was really cool to connect with the Rotarians here, because they would teach us about the American culture as well. They would take us to different places. They would connect us with other Rotarians from other clubs and other areas. It's a really good place to network. So yeah, Rotaract is a really good place to network. So if you just once you come abroad, you talk to one of the Rotarians and say, okay, I was a Rotaract in this country. They'd be really glad, because not many of the young people do Rotaract. I mean, in US, as far as I know. So for the Rotarians, they really like it when they hear a young person say that I was a Rotaract. And so they helped me out a lot. I went out to a lot of places with the Rotarians, so that helped me blend in with the Americans. Since when we go to the university, we only deal with students like academic in an academic perspective. But when we go out with Rotarians, it's more like we mingle with a lot of individuals from various backgrounds. So that's been really helpful.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to switch up the topics a little bit and go into the pre-requirements about higher education. So I feel like this is a question that most people have. It's a very common question about particularly pursuing, they have the dream to go abroad, but they don't know how exactly that works. So my next question is a high GPA enough to secure a scholarship, and what are the additional qualifications needed? Because during the university times, people tend to focus more about the GPA only without having the other qualifications and building them. So is it really that important as they claim it to be? And what else can you do about it? It's also an open question. Anyone can answer.
I'll start with answering, and others can join me as well. So, high GPA is important, but there's also other aspects like extracurricular activities, join into societies, clubs, how you interact with others, the network that you have, and more towards academia, the research publications that you do, the research that you have undertaken at your undergraduate level, and just having a first class or a second upper, the classes that you have doesn't secure you a good scholarship or higher education position at the university. It's the blend that you have, the overall personality that you build at University of Peradeniya determine your position at your higher education institute. So I would say, while focusing on your GPA, do engage with the societies and clubs and societies, and also if you have a talent, and do engage with sports as well, because they do increase your like networking, how to deal with people, leadership qualities, and also do, if you are interested in research and moving forward, do some basic research at Institute where you have so many of resources. So that's my take-in, and I recently spoke with my supervisor as well, just to see why he chose me over the other candidates that he had. And a simple reply from him was, all the applicants were first class, and he had first class applications of undergraduate as well as masters. The only thing he told me that he looked upon the extracurricular activities that I have done, moving Rotaractors Club of Peradeniya and other societies, the sports, and also the interactions that I gave upon during the interview, like the friendliness and the family-oriented personality. So I would definitely see the development of my qualities through these clubs and societies. So I would give a strong focus on that as well while progressing in your academic career.
All right, thank you. I think that answers our question. And I'll also move into Chamini Aki. What about you? Because you're from everyone else they're from the engineering faculty, but you're from the agricultural faculty. So how was it like for you, the whole GPA, that sort of thing?
Actually, answering that, the having a higher GPA, like a first class or second upper, play a big impact in like securing a scholarship when you are applying, if it is selected based on a comparative basis. But with the interactions I had with the professors and what they have told me, the thing they look in a student is that whether they have the potential to do the research, because in our field, like in agriculture, biology, like science related field, we have to take much time to do research. Even for one publication, it takes at least like 2 minimum years to secure all the data and like go with all the research protocols and everything. So when I was applying for my master's, the professor told me that what he saw in me was the potential for the research, based on how I did my undergraduate research and how I participated in the conferences likewise, and how I maintain all the relationships with my former supervisors. So actually, having high GPA is good, and also it will be good for you if you have like a research exposure in your undergraduate, or like if you are continuing for the masters as well, because going directly for a PhD in some countries, it's a bit hard for the in agricultural science field. So doing a master's first and improving your research skills, although you don't have much publications, that will secure you a good position under good supervisor. So because they see whether you have all the research exposure, you have this kind of knowledge, not only the GPA. So that actually helped me a lot.
All right. So GPA is important as they claim, but there should be the other qualifications as well, such as the exposure that Chamini was talking about, as well as the extracurriculars that Lahira talked about. Tiraj, what would you like to add on?
Yeah, I would like to add some aspects for that question, because I want to point out, if you don't have a first class, don't be discouraged. That's one of the main things, because I didn't have a first class and I was not having a good second upper as well. So it's kind of in the middle of a second order. So, so one of the main things, if you like others said, having a good GPA is good, but don't be discouraged if you have like a second upper, like 3.4 or something. You can get you can improve your application by improving your research skills and improving your, like as Lahiru Malik said, having a research experience in your undergrad will definitely help you to get into a university. And also, if you can at least participate in a research publication, even if it is the first like second author, is fine. Having a publication when you're in undergrad, it's really like, it shows your potential. And also, and I have a few friends in my university, so they didn't even have like a, so because I want to point this out, one of the roommates that I had, he had like 2.9 GPA in University of Colombo, but he was in chemistry, but he had like a very good publication with his professor. He was able to publish that in ACS in US. So he got the opportunity just because of that research. And there are chances like that. So don't be discouraged if you're really, really passionate about doing higher studies. Sometimes your courses when you're doing undergrad might like let you down, but don't be discouraged. Yeah, that's why I wanted to point out.
Thank you, Tiraja. That was
I'll add a kind of a loophole to that one, because I went through that whole loophole. During my undergraduate studies, I contacted my supervisors. There are a few professors in the department, and I went to them and I talked with them and I told them I want to do publications and how can I do that. So they told me that there are like data sets that they already have obtained, but they were not published. So they wanted us to write by analyzing all the data with like contributing with other authors, and we had the chance to increase our publication number with that. Although we write only a part of that, we had the chance. So we can mention that part as well in our CV and let the professors know, okay, I wrote this part. You can see this part, we have the potential likewise. So speak with your professors and talk with them, don't be afraid. So they will actually help you in that matter.
Okay, seems like Chamini has lived life on easy mode when it comes to that. Okay, so yeah, so another important point that she mentioned during her answer is you need to reach out to the professors. So the professors are not going to come to you and be like, oh, do you want to do this and put your name into this? So that sort of thing doesn't happen. So you have to take the initiative when it comes to getting that sort of opportunities. So being like an inert character and not participating to anything and just minding your own business, just the GPA, I don't think that will get you very far. Gavishtai, do you have anything to add on to that?
Well, I think they all covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. The next question is, how was your visa process like? Did you face any difficulties throughout that? Because we have panelists from different countries, so I think the answers will be much different. We'll start with Chamini, because you're from you went to South Korea. So what was the process like for that?
Actually, I directly applied through the embassy, but we were backed up by the international office of our university because that was during the COVID period, and it had the regulations was really strict, and we had to go through several medical checkups, and there were so many requirements. I think the requirements differ based on the country as well. But for me, the visa process was like, since it was supported by the university and they gave all the documentation, they keep contact with the embassy, they informed the students like from us, help them likewise. So I think the visa process was a bit of like, it was exhausting, but I think it went well. But you have to thoroughly go through all your documents, be prepared, research, and contact all the previous students who went, and keep contacts with all the graduate office or the assigned the professionals from the university. And I think that will help you to go through the visa process. It will go smoothly then.
All right, so moving on from South Korea into the UK, Lahiraya, what was your visa process like? So you're living in a country in the Europe where I think the regulations are much more stricter in comparison to South Korea. I mean, I may be wrong, but how was your process like?
So the UK student visa process, the process is directly straightforward. So all the documents that you require are directly in the government website itself, and most of the documentations are verified from your institute itself. So Imperial request a document list that they need to verify before even issuing a acceptance letter. So it's assurance that the institute of the higher education institute gives to the government that this potential PhD student is capable of handling these financial commitments. He or she has this academic background, and he or she is coming to this institute in a authentic way rather than having different other ways. So it's really good where you have the backing of your higher education institute, and more or less, and then sort of how you present the financial aspect, the financial proofs and everything. It's also there, but I think when we are coming from a South Asian countries, especially from Sri Lanka, it's good as Chamya mentioned as well to consult a friend or a colleague that who already went to UK to do a PhD. Just have a chat with them and see how he or she their proof to each and every document, because for UK visa you don't have a interview. Even at least for me, we didn't have an interview back then. I don't know the regulations now. I don't think till now you don't have a interview. So all the documents go to India and come back. So you don't have like you don't have a chance to give more evidence at your interview or to answer any questions. You just provide every single documentation, and you hope and pray that you get the student visa. So consultation with a colleague or a friend, or even reach out to us. We can help you with the process, and also there's guidance from the university itself. There's a visa consultancy section in most of the higher education in UK, so you can reach out to them as well for further support.
All right, thank you. Since we have two panelists from the USA, we'll go into one of them. Gavishtaya, this question is for you again. So what was your visa process like, and what sort of support did you get from the university as well as from others as well?
When applying to US, I think to me it feels like a little bit different to what it's like in South Korea and England. So when we talk to the people who are already here, they would say, okay, my visa interview asked this question, so I had to show him or her this document. So there's a lot of documents that that we have to take just in case the interviewer asks us to show. That's how I feel like it. But there are a lot of, there's a list of documents that usually get shared from seniors to juniors when you're applying for US visa, with a list of documents that you should take. But it's not like you have to take all of them, but it's better if you have all of them. There's a set of mandatory documents which you should take. Some are provided from the university, some you have to go to government institutes of Sri Lanka and get. Usually it depends on the visa interview, I would say, for US visas. And yes, you should be prepared with, they have a set of common questions which they ask, and we usually have a set of common answers that we give. So if you're prepared with those, I think you can get through the visa process easily. I think Tiraja can add to that.
Yeah. So, and I also want to add, because of, you are aware of what the global news and things happening in US, right? So it's better to be prepared like more than before, because the people who went for visa like extension also, they were having like a lot of waiting times in other countries like India and stuff. So don't take it like easy if you're applying for US. Make sure you have all the documents, and make sure you are well prepared for the questions. So as Gavishnamali said, it can be different from people to people, depending on what you are putting in your application. So we have a document called DS 160, right? Yeah. So in that you have to put all the social media, all the family background and everything and stuff. So depending on that, your question will be different. So for me, I had like a very extensive interview. I thought I would not get the visa because, but later, luckily I got it. But the same person who was next to my interview, box, he just had 2 questions. I was like listening to that. He got the visa and he just went off. So be very prepared for all the financial documents, even from your Sri Lankan bank accounts, and if you have anyone from abroad that can help you, maybe it's better to have those documents as well. You don't have to show, but just keep it in hand, saying that okay, whatever, if something happens, I have capability of fund myself. And also the main question they will ask in US, are you planning to come back? So have a very smart answer for that. So definitely they would not like if you say that you are going to plan, you are going to stay in US, but we know what we are going to do, right? So be very prepared for those answers. You can say all of you are applying actually might be working as TAs, working as instructors in Pera. So what me and my friends had, the answer for that time is, so we have a verbal offer in our department in Pera, so we'll be coming back. So that's one of the things. And financial and other main documents, there is a list, so you can actually probably ask one of your seniors. It's very common, like I-20, I-94, blah blah, set of that. So be very prepared. So in US it can be different for next couple of years than before. What we hear from the other international friends that we have, their visa process got extensive than before. So be very prepared for that.
All right. Thank you, Aya. That was I feel like that was like a very detailed answer. And I feel like that clarified most of the doubts that people have if they're considering going to USA for their further studies. And I feel like this sort of information that you told us about right now, you don't get this from Google or AI or whatever. So all this information, it comes handing down from your seniors before you onto you. So again, the importance of building connection, because then you're prepared for all the questions, you know the answer. So You're like game at a time. Okay. So you are like already ready for the worst possible scenario that could happen. Okay. Now we'll move on to this is also another very common question that is about internships and part-time work. Okay. This question, I'll lead it to Gavishtaya first. Did you have an internship while you were studying there or any sort of part-time job? And if so, how did you balance it out with your studies?
Well, I haven't had any internships, but for part-time jobs, I would say, I think being a teaching assistant or research assistant counts because that's how we get our stipend.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
usually, yeah, sorry. So
No,
usually the university assigns us saying, okay, you have 20 hours of teaching assistant work or 40 hours of research assistant work. I mean, it's always good to be good to get your work done in a timely manner so that you don't pile up your research work or teaching assistant work plus the studies. So I mean, most of us are used to do the things in the last minute, but yeah, once you come here and start doing those work, usually the professors would ask us for feedback every week. Okay, what have you done? What have you done? So you usually get used to the work culture here. It's somewhat different from Sri Lanka. Yeah.
all right. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll move into Lahiraya. So how was it like for you while you were living in the UK? And what are the regulations about working? Did you have some sort of weekly limit for student visa? And if so, how much was it?
Yeah. So I think unlike in US, for us, TA is not mandatory. So it's totally up to the PhD students whether they need to do a TA or not. Because I think most of us are recruited as a RA, research assistant, or funded by a project. And regarding the limitations, it's as per these regulation, it's 20 hours per week. So during term time and during holidays, it's 40 hours per week. And the calendar holidays are just, we do have 2 holidays. That's the Easter break. We have a 1 week Easter break there and 2 weeks of Christmas break. And regarding balancing, so in my case, I did some TA questions as well because it was a great opportunity for you to not just get an extra cash in hand. You get to experience dealing with international students from all over the world. And at Imperial, you get most of the, they claim to be the most intelligent people here. So the undergraduates are dealing with them, going through the lecture notes. It's really good. You get a different flavor of the lectures that you already know back from Sri Lanka, and you get to walk through the tutorials with them, and also expand your network with other lecturers in the same department who are doing similar research, not just your supervisor, because in your PhD life, you more or less rely on your own supervisor. But if you're doing a TA with other lecturers, you get that network as well. So it's important if you are preparing to build up an academic career. It's good to have more network and more people knowing. So that was really interesting. Regarding balancing, you can also consult with your own supervisor. Just let him or her know that you will be taking these particular TAs and is it all right with it. So much of a certain amount of hours would be taken away from your research. So you can plan on having the meetings apart at the times that you are free, and then have a good research progress as also commit to TA work.
All right, thank you. So the next question is also somewhat similar to the internship question. The question is, what was the process like for finding and securing part-time jobs or internships? So this question I'll lead towards Chaminiyaki. Could you explain about your experience on that topic?
Actually, I will tell about my knowledge about that because I didn't had any internship or TA or portions because of the language barrier we had. In South Korea, actually, we had to pass the topic exams, which confirms that we have the language proficiency to teach the students and engage in any sort of part-time jobs outside the university or even within the university. So if you study language and pass the exams and get the certificates, it was easier for you to take any kind of part-time job. But in my case, since I didn't study Korean as a part of my requirement in my studies, I was not given any RA or TA positions, but I was registered at a RA position because of my stipend under my supervisor. But to the end, I did a TA position because I somewhat developed the interaction with the Korean students. And telling about the opportunities that you can find, how to find the internship, all the part-time jobs within the university itself. In the websites, they post that they have these kind of assistantship jobs within in different offices or international office, the graduate office, or any kind of office that within like related to the administrative level. They post assistantship jobs, so you can search for them, apply for them, and also go contact the supervisors or likewise. And for like Asian countries, if you're going for Japan, China, or South Korea, likewise, you have to have the language proficiency. But I think for the other countries, they have different platforms where you can find through networking and also job searching platforms. I think you can go to those such kind of opportunities and platforms to find things.
All right, thank you. Okay, so now we'll switch up the topic a little bit. So this question is directed towards the gentlemen who are present today. Were there any specific habits or skills that you wish you had developed before moving abroad? So here I'm going to talk about cooking, cleaning, that sort of thing, because you are living abroad and by yourself. So you don't have your mom doing all of these things for you. So what was it like for you guys? We'll start with Tirajaya.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So definitely you need to like, I mean, I didn't have any skills in cooking when I was in Pera. We just used to eat from canteen, and like, you know, when we go home, our mothers cook for us. But after coming here, actually, it was a challenge in the first couple of months. You can't actually be starved, right? You have to eat something. So in the first couple of days, you try to eat from outside, then you realize it's very expensive. Then you try to like cook for yourself, and with the time, I think you'll be like get better at it. So I think the guys are good cooks after some time. I would say like a lot of guys here, they cook really good. So, but they all started cooking after coming here. So and you can like, if you have going to living with roommates, you can share the cooking. Like guys, yeah, it's no need to have that skill before coming here, but you will definitely learn. It's kind of a good skill to have when you're living alone.
All right. So currently, when you're living in Pera, we don't really go for that option of cooking because, you know, all the canteens are located nearby and the food is affordable. So there's like a lot of other options that you can go for. But when you move abroad, you realize that it's bloody expensive to order food all the time. So you need to be able to fend for yourself. Lahiroya, do you have anything else to add to that?
I think it's the same as Tirajaya mentioned. Me being going to school from home and also coming to Pera from home, at least on some late nights I would stay at Akbar, but most of the time, even that, I have my own vehicle coming to uni and coming back, so I would grab my food and come back for the lecture. So it was more or less my mother cooking every meal. And So before coming to UK, I started trying to learn cooking with my mother. So I made 1 or 2 meals, but it apparently died close to coming to UK because you are more focused on other aspects, visa process, getting ready to come, getting ready with all the clothes and everything, and you get tired, and your mom would feel bad for you and cook really well. So, and after coming, as Peradeniya mentioned, with the prices and also you can't afford getting meals, 3 meals a day from outside. So you get adapted to it. You start cooking styles that your mom or uh, your family cook for you, and also you rely on YouTube channels, sort of. So they do have really good channels which the PhD students abroad can look and easily follow as well. And so many easy recipes, and depends on your location as well regarding your supermarket and everything, and you get adapted with that. And also you can't sometimes you can't cook style that you cook in Sri Lanka because you need to bring food to uni and heat it up, and you can't use your hands to eat because you will be in a communal area. So as I mentioned earlier, you do have so many cultures blending. So you sometimes, when you come abroad, you are forced to eat from a spoon and fork. So you need to prepare food that is easily microwavable and also easily eatable as well in that scenario. So with time you get used to it, and the pasta that I make here is the same. And now my mother is following the same recipe back home. And so it's really nice to see people, my mother getting like, influence as well. So it's really nice. And sometimes once in 2 months, I visit my cousins who are like 3 hours away. So they would cook for 1 or 2 meals of 1 or 2 weeks, and I eat it in my place and I just heat it up.
All right.
So,
Thank you. Okay. The next question, it's also, I mean, it's not related to cooking, but it's also somewhat similar. So that is, so when you were living in Sri Lanka, I'm pretty sure you all had like certain career goals and like, I'm gonna end up in this place doing this sort of thing. And how has that outlook changed when you moved abroad? Has it changed? And if so, how exactly? We'll send this question to Gavishtkaya. How was it like for you?
Well, for me, my plan was always to finish a PhD, do a postdoc, and then join the academia. But after coming here and talking with students who have completed their PhD, my plans have changed a little bit. I'm not sure whether it'll go according to plan, but I want to get the industrial exposure as well, because I think as of now, getting the industrial exposure and getting those connections would help you. And if you join as an academic person to a university, for the university itself to grow. So my plans definitely did change.
Okay, all right. Anyone else want to add on to that? Maybe based on your personal experiences?
I think after coming here, so my goal was similar to Gavish as well. After PhD, do a postdoc and join academia, and also coming back to Sri Lanka and hopefully join Institute Peradeniya. I don't know if there's like a question opening up there. And after coming to India and like interacting with lecturers, you get the flavor of how the teaching styles are different, and so you get those systematic academic teaching differences, how the syllabus is categorized and given, and how the tutorials are conducted, how the assessment is proceed, how the examinations are. So it has opened up my perspective in research more, and I would definitely continue with a postgraduate, like postdoctoral in the same field and open up with other possible areas that I can improve research and then more contribute towards research, because I think I have developed a passion towards research. So I have also connected with other structural engineering research groups in other universities, not just in UK, US, Asian countries as well. So I have now developed a good network with them. So I think it's I have it has changed a lot after coming.
All right. What about Tirajaya? Has your outlook, professional outlook, has that changed, or do you still have the same plans as you did while you were being an undergraduate?
That definitely changed, same as Gavish and Lahiru said. So I also was like wanted to like come back to academia and even come back to Pera and be in the academia, but after coming back and after seeing the opportunities that you see here, you don't see that when you're in Sri Lanka. So job opportunities, even and definitely I don't want to do postdoc at this point. So that's my experience. So I would, and now my my goal would be like get a good industrial job, because you see that, right? When you compare yourself with the other students from other countries, what I felt in myself is like I don't have the industrial experience or like the corporate experience that like they used to have. They always get ahead sometimes, like when you apply for the jobs. So most of the Indians and most of the other South Asian countries, they come to the higher studies with having a job experience, but most of Sri Lankans we don't. So and also the work culture in Sri Lanka and the work culture in US is different, and I wanted to get to know that more, because and also even it doesn't matter if you want to go for like a corporate kind of job or like a R&D job. You can find that opportunities here. You have to be like very proactive, I would say, but there are plenty of opportunities. So be open to the opportunities that comes at you. Don't be strict to one area. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was really helpful. Okay. Now we are close to approaching the end of the session. So this request goes out to all the participants. So this is a rare chance where you have panelists from 3 different countries. So they could potentially be countries that you could be interested in. So if you do have any questions besides the one that I'm asking, you could just drop it in the meeting chat itself. Or if you want, feel free to drop that in the WhatsApp group. We would be happy to accommodate that as well. All right. So this question I'll be directing towards Chamiyaki. Based off on your experience, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to someone who is still unsure about studying abroad? So here we are talking about the pros and the cons. How are you going to weigh all this, that sort of thing?
Actually, studying abroad is like a different world. You will like get exposed to a different kind of world. So it is like a worthwhile experience that you have to take, because you will get sort of like a like eye-opening experience to different sections industry, whether it is research or like academic. You will get a different kind of experience rather than in Sri Lanka, because all the education system, the industry, the jobs, the connection, the networking, everything is different out of here. So if you want to go abroad, actually I think it's better to think about before you do. Just plan ahead what you want to do. research before you go, research about the country, research about the area, research about the field. It doesn't matter if you have studied a certain kind of like majored in a certain area, but still you have the chance to change. If you don't satisfy with the majoring project or the majoring subject you still have the chance to change it through research or any other way. There are sort of opportunities outside in the world, apart from like outside Sri Lanka. So I would advise for the ones who wants to go abroad for the first time, research. Even if it doesn't like, you don't like that part, just research and understand why you don't like that part. Like, why don't you like to go for that country? Why it doesn't suit you? Likewise. So it's better to start with research, contacts, ask questions, keep like discussions, and attend certain kind of events like this. So it will be a good opportunity. So I think it's good to try out studying abroad.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we have time to ask from the other panelists as well. What about Gavishkaya? What is your insight on that?
Yeah, so I'll say it's there is a personal aspect to it as well, because some people would not want to go abroad to study. But if you are hesitating, definitely, like Charmiak said, it's something you should try out. Since now you know how to reach out to people and get your finances settled down if you are to move. It's definitely worth trying out going abroad. You get exposed to a lot of things that you don't see in Sri Lanka.
Okay, thank you. What about Peradeniya? What is your insight on it?
Yeah, so most of like what Shamini mentioned, so it's like definitely like research about what you are going to do. Like that's like Shamini covered all, and yeah, I don't have anything specific. I think even Gavish said it's definitely something like a big experience, even like wherever you end up, but it will be definitely a rewarding experience. You will be rewarded with like specific skill sets, specific experiences, and more connections, more networking. And yeah, and follow your passion, and be open-minded, I would say. Be open-minded in every aspect. Research, getting to know the culture, getting used to the culture and everything.
All right, thank you. So here in our discussion today, we are not specifically promoting studying abroad. So we are here to discuss about the pros and the cons and the hardship that these people faced during their times. So that is entirely up to you all to decide whether you want to study abroad or not. But having this sort of clear understanding, and you're able to like weigh the pros and the cons by yourself and decide for yourself whether going down this path is something that you actually want to do. Okay, Lahiraya, do you have anything else to add on to that question?
Just a little bit. I think most of the things was covered. I just want to speak. It's basically to a minority group that would pursue higher education just to like settle in another country. So if you are planning to just do higher education, because back in 2022, the year that we graduated, with the financial crisis, most of my colleagues started planning after losing their jobs, started planning to do higher education just to get abroad. So it was the easiest way to get abroad. So if you're planning to come to UK just for settlement, I would suggest you to look for masters than doing a PhD, because here in the UK it's just 1 year masters rather than having a 3 or 4 year PhD. So if you are interested in industry, that means you are not that much passionate on research and education. So you can rather do a 1 year master's, and then afterwards, just after the master's, you get a 2 year work visa, which is provided by the UK government. So then you can decide on the route of settling in the country. So if that's the process, just research on that, and also because other than that, all the other things regarding higher education, just how if you are passionate on doing higher education, I would recommend rather doing it again in Sri Lanka, better to go abroad, have that exposure, and then come back. Because some of my colleagues who got first classes, they are passionate in doing academia, but they don't want to leave Sri Lanka. I mean, even we can relate because in my particular scenario as well, I want to come back to Sri Lanka as well. But when I was traveling with my father to different countries, I saw the different culture exposure. So what I motivated myself was to have a different um, education. So after you get the knowledge from an undergrad and masters, and afterwards getting the same knowledge in a different perspective is really good if you are planning to come to back to Sri Lanka, and also for your personal growth as well. So it's definitely a challenge, but a rewarding experience for you.
All right, thank you. So the conclusion is there is no right or wrong way that you should go when you are pursuing your career. So if you want, you can stay in Sri Lanka, and if you want, you can go abroad. So that all depends on your preference and basically what you want in your life. Okay, so having this sort of participating to events like this, that's very important because here we give you a very it's like an open-ended question. There is no, as I mentioned before, there is no right or wrong answer. So having these sort of insights and information and hearing these real life stories, I think that will be a lot of help in helping you make the correct decision. So now we have come to the end of our session. We can give a couple of minutes when, if you all have certain questions that you want to ask our panelists by yourself, I think we can give you all a couple of minutes now. All right, it seems like we don't have any questions, but if you do have any, feel free to drop it to the chat box, or or you could drop them to our WhatsApp as well. Okay, does any of the panelists have anything to add or to maybe advise our participants about the undergraduate life, just so we could wrap things up?
I mean, so reflecting back on undergraduate life, so I would definitely recommend all the undergraduates to, uh, while doing your academic studies, join clubs and societies, do sports, because Peradeniya is a place which you have full of resources, full of different types of clubs and societies which suit you, and we do have plenty of like facilities for sports and extracurricular activities. So feel free to join them. Don't take it as a burden. Take it as an experience that you get. You don't have to be a pro at sports, because I think all the sports I did, I did play tennis. So all the sports they train the beginners as well. So learning a sport is a really good additional point for your higher education as well as for your life itself. And then coming to academia, if you're a first year student, start focusing on a bit on GP as well, because it do matters. But as we earlier mentioned in the initial stage, there's a combination of all the things that you need to acquire good scholarship and sort of. So don't, after 4 years of your undergraduate, don't regret on the things, the decisions that you made during your 4 years. So make every decision count when you are graduating at the gymnasium. Just reflect back on all the 4 years and be you have lived the life of an undergraduate. So don't regret the decisions that you make. And other than that, also think about your passions as well. Just don't go with the trend, especially when you are in a engineering faculty. You have several disciplines that you need to select after your first semester. So think about your passion as well as the trend, the opportunities that you can have after 3.5 years, because that really change the career path that you take upon after graduating. And I think we touched upon the aspect of having a good relationship with your lecturers, staff members. It's really good because after graduating, at least I thought we would be like flooded with opportunities, PhD opportunities, scholarships, because after 4 years, we get a first class and we think the world is ours. But we don't. We need to search for opportunities, and a good network would be through your lecturers. So once I started applying at to UK, so I applied for several universities. So there were few lecturers who has done their PhD in UK as well. So they gave me an insight on what the education is, what the supervisors are like expectations and sort of. So it was really good. And also coming towards, so after selecting institute, so in UK you are given the research title as well in the interview. So you need to do a bit of a background on the research topic, and you are given 1 or 2 weeks. And majority of us are not experts in either like a specific research field. So you need to talk with some of the lecturers who are specialized on that. So they would give you recommendations, literatures, papers that you can like skim through and be prepared well for the interviews. And finally, once it comes to recommendations in your applications, supervisors, undergraduate supervisors and the lecturers from your university are the key important person. If he or she gives a bad recommendations to you, even though if you have a first class, a good sports career, good extracurricular personality, a good overall character, if you don't have that network, it will be a waste. So be mindful on that as well.
All right. So a lot of aspects that we need to cover on. So not only the academics. So you mentioned about maintaining a good relationship with your academic advisors and staff members as well. And also I'd like to add on to another point that you mentioned about sports. So we know that Peradeniya, it offers all the resources that one needs, but it's just a matter of going pursuing these opportunities. So no one is going to drag you to the gym and force you to do a sport. So you have to do that by yourself. So that sort of self-discipline, I feel like it's very important for an undergraduate student especially to have. Chaminaki, do you have anything else to add on to that question, especially regarding the undergraduate life? Because most of the participants here are undergraduates here. So anything to add about that?
Yeah, I think I would add a little bit to what Lahira said. Actually, Lahira covered a lot regarding that matter. The one thing I want to say is that the undergraduate life in that 4 years is a period that you get so many opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities within the university. There are so many clubs, and although you are not a member of a certain club, they organize several like events, discussions, training programs, courses, likewise. So the world is changing now. Actually, the research are not the typical researchers that we knew back then. Now, when we search for the research topics and go back and forth with the professors discussing everything, they won't incorporate everything that is now new to the world, like AI, data programming, data analyzing, and everything. They won't incorporate everything. Even photography has become a skill in research as well. So I think for that aspect, you will never know what will help you in future. So I want all of you to like grab all the opportunities, whether you are not a member of a certain club. If they have organized certain kind of an event discussion, just attend that. You will never know that knowledge that you have obtained back then will be helpful in future as well. So I want to emphasize that part.
Yes, thank you. So what you learn from events like this, it will never go to waste. So if you spend 1 hour of your time on this, it's not you spending the 1 hour, it's about you making an investment. So you allocating your time for events like this. I mean, even the participants. So you're here on a Sunday night, spending time over here listening to this. So that shows what sort of discipline that you have, and your urge to like pursue, do best in your future and be the best version of yourself. So again, that is what NextStep 360 is all about. So we have a lot more projects coming up as well. Back to that question that we were talking about, I'll move into Tirajaya as well. What advice or what sort of information would you give the undergraduates who are present here today?
Yeah, I think Lahiru and Shamini covered, I think, almost all of it. And one thing I wanted to mention, and don't like while you're doing all of this stuff, and don't forget to have fun. Undergrad life is one of the best times in your life. Make friends, get to know people, network, have fun, and all the points that Lahiru and Shamini said. That all matters. That's all I have from my end.
Thank you. So Tirajai, I think he helped us to see that it's not as serious as it might seem sometimes. We tend to like prioritize GPA, these connections, and join all the clubs in the world. And we don't have like much time for ourselves. But then again, enjoying the process, that is a very important part of this whole thing. Gavishkaya, do you have anything else to add on to that as well?
Yeah, like Raja said, have fun. And one thing with regard to doing research, if you're planning on doing higher studies, I suggest you search for research that's like trending in the world, that's like really new, and then you go and suggest them to a supervisor who works in a similar field. Sometimes research are not done. I mean, so from my personal experience, the final year research that I did was not something that was done in the university. I got hold with a professor from a different university, and then took that idea to a lecturer from our department, and he also liked it. So it's a good addition to the department as well. You are bringing new research topics into the department. That's one thing I think you can try out. It will be really good for you as well, since you are working on a novel topic. Yeah, and yeah, have fun while doing all of that.
Okay, thank you. We have a question on the chat that is about, can you explain us how did you balance extracurricular activities in Pera? So does anyone want to maybe answer that question? I think the previous question did answer it quite well, but anything you want to add on to, especially it says Gavishtaya played basketball in the uni team as well. So what about, how has that, I mean, you're now currently pursuing higher studies abroad. So I don't think playing basketball in this team has affected you adversely in any sort of way. Yeah, could you maybe answer that?
Well, I would say when you're doing academics, you get stressed out. So for me, going and playing basketball was the way of releasing my stress, and it helped me grow as a team member as well, which is something the advisors here look for when they take you for a research team. So yeah, for me, it was kind of like a stress releasing point. And since you interact with a lot of people, it's really good to do a sport. Yeah, even Lahiroy did a sport. Yeah, he played for the university team as well.
All right,
And
we're going to Lahiraya then. Yeah, so as Gavishtai said, you did a sport, and what sport did you do, and how has that helped you throughout this journey?
So I represent the tennis team of Peradeniya, and also I think it was 2019 during the slug 2019 I was the vice captain as well of the team, and at the end of my term as vice captain, I was also the president of Rotaractors Club of Teams of Parents. So those period was more towards his career as well. But at Peradeniya, so you get the opportunity of at least in our faculty. So we have uh, two semesters plus a period where you do the training program, like industrial training. So during your semesters, you have certain weeks which is just assignments or just like small commitments towards lectures, and you have midterm and end term. So our lectures or our courses are designed for you to after 5 or 6 they allow you to go to like do sports rather than going back to your residential hall, Akbar or other places. It's good that you like have your downtime as well after doing the lectures and doing the assignments, going through the notes, doing midterm, and engaging in sports is really good. You get to meet other faculty members, like students, your peers, and you get to deal with teamwork, which would build up in your final year, like group work activities as well. So indirectly, sports and even Rotaract work indirectly helped me a lot during my third and fourth years. And fourth year, we were just stuck in home during COVID period. So it was really helpful for me. What I learned from sports and Rotaract, they helped me a lot during my final year, just to cope up with the pressure that I got during exams. Our batch did two semesters worth of exams within 2 months. So we had 12 subjects, and so coping up with stress and everything was there through the learnings that I got from sports as well as Rotaract, because you are pushed into boundaries during sports when you are in a match, and also during Rotaract. Sometimes with some certain projects you get certain, you never know when the problems are coming. So it's really rewarding as well as it's additional qualification in a CV as well. It's really
All right.
good.
Thank you.
I would like to add a few points to add that as well. So when you're having to maintain a balanced lifestyle, you have to be first most important thing to have like a self-discipline. I mean, let's say you want to do academics and you want to go for a club and you want to do sports. So don't make plans for it. Let's say make a good timetable for it and don't procrastinate. So that you are going to do this next year, you are going to do in second year. So it will give you like a good skill as well, having a good timetable and having a good mindset. Different experiences in Pera in undergrad life will give you different skills. So be open and be self-disciplined and don't procrastinate that I'm going to do this next year, because we used to have this mindset in Pera. Okay, we are doing it later. We are doing when we get closer to the exam. We are going to do. We are not gonna. Now we are going to have fun. Next year we are going to join to a club. Not like that. Whenever you want to do it, try out and make a good plan of it, like a timetable. Okay, you are doing this. You are doing this. Yeah.
All right. So I've had some inside scoop that Tirajaya is an all-rounder. He has participated in like many clubs, unions, as well as sports. And I think that has definitely influenced him a lot to be in the position that he is now. We'll move on to this question from the chat. It says, I'm interested in knowing what part-time jobs to look out for. Additionally, I was told to apply for as many internships as possible. How to find internship opportunities abroad? Does anyone can answer this question?
So I will give some insight because I have put in this situation for a while when I'm doing the PhD. So it's like you have plenty of platforms that you can look for internship opportunities. Mainly, it would be LinkedIn. So maintain a good active LinkedIn profile with all the projects. Even if you have like a small project, research project, make a good LinkedIn profile. And also there are some websites called I'm not sure whether those are famous in Sri Lanka that people know about that. Indeed is one of the active platforms that the people here use, and also a platform called Handshake. And those are the main three places that you can actually see. And also in LinkedIn, you can utilize several options. You can actually set up like job alerts for specific job role. If you put it in like, let's say mechanical engineering internship or like trainee something, you will get a daily report of that. So even if you don't have the premium account, you will get the what you call the notifications. So that's a good way to keep on track because some of the opportunities abroad, if you just see in the account, they have like plenty of for one job role. If it is like very famous company, there will be like 200, 300 application within like 1 or 2 days. So you have to be a bit like proactive. And also the first thing that people like recruiters from this LinkedIn, they look at your LinkedIn profile and they go back to your resume, the CV. So it's good to have those like very active, even for like a small milestone of your academic life, even if your paper, even if you join to a project with your professor, make it a good writing and put it in that, show that you're active.
Thank you. Yeah, so adding a little bit on to what he said about LinkedIn. So maintaining a LinkedIn account, I feel like most of us, we have the accounts, but we're very reluctant to maintain them at all. But having a LinkedIn, that's like having a historical record of all the work that you have done throughout the time. So you may be able to like lie in your CV, but if they check your LinkedIn, they'll be able to find out if whether the information that you're telling is valid or not. So having that sort of record is very important. So I feel like this is the moment to like let you guys know that the next session that we'll be having by NextStep 360, that is on LinkedIn, CV writing, resume, e-portfolio basically. So we will be updating you all about that in the group itself. So make sure that you all join to the WhatsApp group. We have another question from the same person that asked about the internship. Is there any Sri Lankan online communities from students in the UK? So I think this is directed to Lahiru Ayya because he is from the UK.
Yeah, so there are some platforms. So in WhatsApp, Facebook, and also LinkedIn as well. And as Tiraj mentioned regarding part-time and internship opportunities, it's he has touched upon everything that needs to be said. And some regarding part-time jobs, there are some more like apps which is specific to UK, top jobs and everything else. And what to look in part-time would basically rely on the person itself. So if you're doing a PhD, most of the higher education institutes, they provide TA opportunities. So I would suggest recommending you move into a subject area that you are familiar with rather than having part-time jobs outside from your institute. So I would recommend doing TA questions rather than working outside, because most of the higher education institutes, the pay rate is high as well, and it's walking distance. And you can just search UK Sri Lanka students, and you get tons of groups. So depending on the number of members, you can see how. And also in Facebook groups, we also share the number of posts shared per week as well. So you can see which groups are more active. So you can just join. And if you need more clarification, I can send you some potential groups that you or she can join.
Okay. All right, thank you. So I'm pretty sure that our panelists, they would be more than happy. So if you have any specific requests or you want the links of these groups, I'm pretty sure you can reach out to them and they'll be more than happy to help you all out. So either you can reach them via Rotaract itself, or I'm sure that you can reach them via LinkedIn as well. So any choice, any way that you want to prefer, I'm pretty sure they'll be happy to help you all out. All right, so we have come to the end of our session today, and I'll take this opportunity to thank the panelists. First of all, we know that there's really big time differences happening over here, but you all are, you all are busy people, and you have allocated your time to help us all. It's more of a help that you're giving a service. So thank you so much for being here today, and I'm pretty sure that everyone who has participated here, they have more insight than they had before. So getting the inside scoop on studying abroad, I'm pretty sure they have received that. So thank you so much for spending your time here today. You all are very much appreciated. And next up, I'd like to thank the organizing committee as well. So Madhurya, Aki and all, they have played a big role in getting these panelists to join with us and organizing the event. So all the stuff that happens behind the curtain is taken care of by the organizing committee team. And last but not the least, I'd like to thank the participants as well. Thank you so much for being here. It is through events like this that you shape your future and you learn what is best. So thank you for being here, and stay in tune with the future NextStep events as well. We have so much happening, and we will all let you know in the WhatsApp group chat. That sums it up for today. Thank you so much for being here once again, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.